913-590-303 for photos coming in via WhatsApp. Now, there was a quick public service announcement that I wanted to include, and we can take this as a segment out of here this evening as well. No pressure, Johnny Cocktail. You had some concerns about canela, or cinnamon, as we call it, right? Canela in Portuguese. Cinnamon, which you'll see sprinkled all over pastel de natas and other things here, I think. Sometimes even the coffee. Johnny, what's going on with canela supplies coming into Portugal?
I'm not saying it was coming into Portugal. It was reported in a publication that comes in the United States. It's a consumer magazine.
Right.
And so I imagine what they tested were brands that were most commonly distributed in North America.
Okay.
But I just wanted to let all the drinks makers and the foodies, as I stated, know that a third of the brands that they tested exceeded the allowable. First of all, it's allowed, but the allowable amount of lead in the ground cinnamon.
Right. Okay. And with Portugal being a big consumer of cinnamon, there is that distinct possibility, is there not?
It very well could be. If it's being made in some places and distributed worldwide, just check your pantry, and if you see any of those labels, then discard it, please.
Okay, all right. And what are you looking for? I mean, they're not going to list lead as an ingredient, are they? How will we know it's been? How will we know it's been cut up with nastiness?
Just because it was tested.
Oh, okay. All right.
In a food testing lab.
But with the one we pull out of our pantry, what are we looking for? Should we just get rid of that anyway and go buy a decent one?
Well, in the post that I made, it referenced a publication, and that can be found online, that article, at no charge to anybody. And then they list the 12 failed brands, and then they had the Midland brands, and they had the preferred brands.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I guess you would just want to check that article and see if any of those failed brands are in your pantry and replace them.
Okay, and I'll make sure the link to that it goes alongside the clip that we'll take from here.
I guess if you get out of the pantry, right, and you pull it off the shelf, it's like, oh, bloody hell, I can't hold this.
Don't drop it on your foot. It's the problem with powders. When you buy powders from strangers, you never know what's in there, do you, basically?
Just leave it as a stocking stuffer at a Christmas party.
Yes. And on the matter of making cocktails with cinnamon, with canela, what have you been making, Johnny Cocktail, of my cocktail mind?
Loads. It's too long a list. We're here to discuss something else, but there's always loads going out, including a few that will be posted, if not at the end of this week, beginning of next week. I had Frank over, and I had some go his way.
I see. Excellent. Okay.
Have you got any wine left?
Cinnamon compared to the UK, and I should imagine the US, it's so cheap here compared to both countries. They even give it away in service stations. You get little cinnamon sticks to drink your coffee through.
Yes.
They just leave out there. In the UK, it's massively expensive. So if you notice that they did a study on Radio 4 as well, where they found that herbs in general, they found like something like 40% of herbs weren't what they were purported to be.
No way.
Herbs, you have to be really careful. And we dry our own chilies and like all sorts of herbs, and there's a massive difference in between the taste. I think if they're not adulterated, quite often they're just bulked out with any kind of dust they can.
Vim. Mrs. M was glad of that. She was sniffing your Scotch bonnet the other day, Pete. That lovely preparation that you made. So it's lovely. It's good to know with the provenance of certain things, isn't it?
Well,
yeah,